So welcome back, everybody. We continue on page 126, which is in the middle of chapter 44. We'll just note that I noticed that on the web, on the site, the recording has interrupted just a few minutes before the end of the class. So the newcomers, those who are following online, we're just going to recap this, which we learned towards the end. When he accustomed himself to do so constantly, accustoming himself to do so, oneself to do so becomes his nature. This is again the end with the part which was cut off. As we usually mentioned, the previous class could be seen on this very TanyaOnline.com website. Easy to follow, as there's a separate scroll bar for the text. Easy to follow the class, and also easy access to all the previous classes from the very beginning of the Tanya. So, in this the message of this very chapter you can see in the last few classes, and again the message of the very last coming into today's class. You can see this very last class, which is up and posted accordingly. So the Alter Rebbe says, when you accustom yourself, it becomes your nature. And what Alter Rebbe is basically saying that one has to accustom himself to do so. Now, he right away says, it seems that maybe it's an illusionary experience. Don't worry. What is illusionary experience? Again, just to come from what we learned last week. The last class that the Hizbeinus Alter Rebbe points out in this very chapter in 42 that there is a love which is Shaveh L'chol Nefesh. He deals with different levels of Ava and Yira, love and fear. But he said there's a love which is equal to every single Yid and related and pertinent to every single Yid, and it's like a Yerusha, which means it's an inheritance, which is really, one doesn't have to be special, just like a child. If, God forbid, he loses a family member which has something to pass on to him, let's say he's extremely wealthy, so he becomes the inheritor without even making an effort. This is just the fact that he is connected. He is the family member which would inherit these goods, so even he doesn't even know the virtue and the value of it. It's his, by definition. Someone loses a family member, which he is the inheritor, with $1 billion, automatically becomes a billionaire without even knowing what the value of money is, because this belongs to him. And so too, the Alter Rebbe says, it's pertinent, it's related, it's relevant to every single Yid. V'Yerushalayim, Rabbi is saying. Again, we pointed this out then, and that what? He speaks about these two levels of Ava, the Ava of Hashem, this love a Yid has to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like he cleaves, he pines to his nefesh, nafshi v'sicha. Just like a person appreciates his own nefesh, and he always seeks that symmetry between his nefesh and his body, that he should be healthy. In this case, nefesh is not nefesh alikis. In mashal, it's the simple vitalizing force which makes him a healthy person, that he's able to see and hear and live like a healthy person. So a person always cleaves to that and yearns and aspires that there should always be the connection of his nefesh and his body. When he goes to sleep, he looks forward of getting up in the morning as a healthy human being. When he feels weak, he wants the whole nefesh should come in its full force and measure in order that he should be able to be healthy. Nafshi v'sicha, I desire my nefesh. So too, as he says, that the Yid has to realize Hashem is his nefesh, Hashem is the source of his life. And Hashem, where's Hashem's nefesh? In Torah. As Hashem embedded himself in Torah, Neichi as Anan Nafshi Ksavis Yehav is the first formal revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Am Yisrael. I say formal, obviously Yitzis Mitzrayim was also a revelation. Nigla Le Melech Malcham HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but the first formal exposure of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Am Yisrael was the Matan Torah. Neichi Hashem Alikecha was the first one of the Sefer Dibros, and Neichi is an acronym. The Gemara says Anan Nafshi Ksavis Yehav is Hashem. So I took my whole nefesh, I wrote it into Torah, and I gave it over to you. I gave it into Torah, I gave it over to you. So this appreciation of Hashem being our nefesh, and he connects it to this, which says in Zayah that a Yid, before he goes to sleep, he has that, or a Yid wakes up at night to learn Torah till the morning, because he knows the Eibush is his nefesh, and he always wants to be connected to that nefesh. Nafshi v'sicha. Yeah, you could see it in length at so remember follow the class, and then you could see it online as well. And then he says there's another nefesh, another av, another level of love and gravitation that goes baruch that Hashem is Avinu Mamash Amiti. Based on Moshe Rabbeinu from Rai Mehemna, the idea as the Eivishter Hashem is our Father. Avinu Mamash Amiti. Whatever we find in the character of a father to a child, this is what Hashem is to us. Avinu Mamash Amiti. Then you take a child, gravitates to his father, because it doesn't even need explanation, because that's his father. He's part and parcel of who he is, and he finds the father image and the father character in every step of the way, because it's truly his father. And the son finds comfort within his father, the dependency in his father, the mercy which he relies on from this human being because it's his father. And so too, Hashem being Avinu Mamash Amiti, that love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as our father. So, the Alter Rebbe says, what's the point of Yargil Utzatzim? Do I have to accustom myself to appreciate my nefesh, my actual nefesh, which vitalizes my body? I have to accustom myself. It's just, it's overwhelming. This is what I aspire to, that connection, again, the symmetry between nefesh and guf. And a child, does he have to ponder, to accustom himself to this, or it's just default? What does it mean accustom? And Alter Rebbe says, more so, even you are accustoming yourself to this. It appears to you that it's keich demian, an illusionary keich. Why is it? It's illusionary. Keich means is it real or it's not real? Because if it's when in the area and the experiences where this is real, I won't never think it's a illusionary koyach to think that my nefesh is, I have to kind of start believing, and maybe even believe it's an illusionary, it's an imaginary type of experience that my nefesh is vitalizing me, and I want that connection between nefesh and guf. No, not at all. There it's granted, and there it's just the sensation is so real, and so to a child didn't think it's a keir demiyani, it's an illusionary experience. The child, everything you look at the relationship of a child and a father, it's all there overtly. So why would I have to accustom myself, and why would it appear to me it's a keir demiyani? And the Alter Rebbe say, Lo yachush, don't worry. And the answer is very simple. This is basically the message of the Alter Rebbe. It's real to the Yid from the perspective of his nefesh, the way the physical human being appreciates his own nefesh, the way a child appreciates his father. It's real, it's absolute, and this is, for that matter, one of the chidushim of the Alter Rebbe, the revolutionary novelties of the Alter Rebbe throughout the entire Tanya. In the very beginning, before, namely in the 18th chapter, the Alter Rebbe says the whole Ava, Yid has to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not like you don't have to go, love Hashem, fear Hashem, go shopping for Ava. Go toil till you find Avas Hashem. Go toil till you find Yiras Hashem. In other words, go toil till you find the love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or fear, reverence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rebbe's message is throughout the entire Tanya, when he establishes and brings out, in other words, clarifies in the second chapter, the nefesh hashenis b'Yisrael l'chelik l'kamimal. It's a part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he adds mamish. It's mamish part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So as such, all these different levels of love, which the Alter Rebbe enumerates in Tanya, and he does mention quite a few, one deeper than the other. And in this case, this type of love, and mentioned in this chapter and the other chapters, and so too when it comes to Yiras Hashem, the Alter Rebbe enumerates a few different, and quite a few different levels. He said, this is all who you are. You don't have to bring it from the outside in. It's embedded in you. This is the material. This is the fabric of the neshama. So it's very real. And from the perspective of neshama, you don't have to be marigil. You don't have to accustom yourself or ever believe that it's a keir demiyani, because this is who you are. The whole reason why we don't have this sensation of Avas Hashem, Yiras Hashem, is just because the neshama is not, this great neshama divested and it's living in its own orbit. It's invested in an animal soul. And the animal soul obscures the lichtigkeit, the Eira Neshama. And this animal soul is invested in a body with bodily desires, inclinations, and more so from the perspective of the Bahamis, animalistic desires and inclinations pulling the other direction, hence covering over of the Eira Neshama, especially the person is found in Elam Haza, which has its own sets of attractions. So the Abba is there, is just covered. It's concealed. That's why it's called Abba Mesuteres. Not that there's any compromise, there's any lack with the Abba. The Abba is as potent as it can get from the perspective of the Neshama. It's just because the Nefesh Bahamis is covering up, is obscuring the Eira Neshama, the light of the Neshama. Therefore, the Abba is not able to express itself in its full, in its full experience of the sensation, of its sensation of Abba, of the love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, true passionate love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In this case, the true sensation of Hashem is Mikir Chayenu. Hashem is the source of my life, and He placed Himself in Torah. And if I connect to Torah, because I'm looking, I'm seeking, Ibisicha, I seek, I desire my nefesh, I desire Hashem's Torah. Because that's where Hashem's nefesh is. Or that idea of Avinu Mamash Hamiti, that Hashem is truly my Father, from the perspective of the Neshama, it's exactly this, like the sensation of a child to his father. Sensation of gravitation, love, closeness to his father. And seeks this father figure, and appreciates this father figure on a constant basis. That's exactly the way it is by the Neshama. And with all the potency, with all the passion, the only thing is, the Neshama is invested in a body. And the body obscures. The body covers up the Eira Neshama. And therefore, because of that, there has to be the Yargil Azatzmai. You have to accustom yourself. What you're doing, basically, you're stripping away the Bahamis. And obviously, the point is to transform the Nefesh Bahamis. Like the Gemara says in Brachas, that even the Nefesh Bahamis should become an ally, meaning to say that it should join in this love, the experience of this love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, any way it is, or you're subduing the Nefesh Bahamis, or you're transforming your Nefesh Bahamis, but in the end of the day, there is an Aveda to strip away the layers of the animalistic spirit or drive of the Nefesh Bahamis. That's why there's the Yargil. You have to ponder on this and accustom yourself, because this Ava, which is all there, and again, its full glory, its full potency, is all it has to be, is covered and is obscured with the realities of Shvahamis, the body, and again El Mazeh, and therefore it's a matter of accustoming yourself, and therefore there could be an apparent thought that this is just an illusionary type of experience. But lo yochush says, don't worry, because me'achashu emes la'amite, it is true. And again, the absolute, and Alter Rebbe writes, emes la'amite, it's the absolute truth. Mitzad atzmei, its own Abba Mesuteres, of the innate, inherent love, which is part and parcel of the Neshama. There is the gain when it comes from a state of concealment to a state of manifestation, a state of revelation. Why? In order that it should bring to the action, which is the occupation of Torah, and in fulfilling and completing Hashem mitzvahs, which you learn and you fulfill through this love, to bring satisfaction to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like a child serving his father, not a robot serving whoever is dealing with that robot. A child serves his father. He wants to bring the best. He wants to do it in a way that would bring true satisfaction to his father. And that's the purpose of extracting this Abba, that it should not remain concealed. It should come to a state of expression, revelation, manifestation. Because then the Aveda is a different quality of Aveda. And in this case, the Ava, this is the point of the Ava coming Gilu, mean to say this idea that accustoming myself that Hashem is Mekir Chayinu, the soul stream of my life and energy and vitality, and so to Hashem is Avinu Mamash Amiti, my true Father. This is again part and parcel of my neshama, but it's important that it comes to a state of revelation, in order that my Torah mitzvah should be more of a qualitative Torah mitzvah. And how do I get there? I get there through his beinunus. This is very important. I get there through pondering on this reality. Because when something is concealed, love. Now, really, your neshama loves HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Neshama has this sensation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu as Mekir Chayenu, the source of our life, and Avinu Mamash Amiti, the Hashem being the father figure, and so on. So love Hashem. It's there. Experience it. It doesn't work that way. As we know, the famous word of the Magi, the Alter, comes from the Magi or the Alter Rebbe. What does it mean? V'ahavtas Hashem Elokecha? Love HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Love HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does it mean commanding on love? You command me to put up a mezuzah because it's action. But what does it mean command me to love? If I love, I need not to be commanded because I have that passion of love towards this other party. In this case, towards Hashem. If I love, I don't have to be commanded. And if I don't love, what is a command going to help? You cannot command on an emotion. So what is the Mezirish Magid answer? Again, I believe it's the Magid. That, it's true. The command just starts the pasuk before. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, that Hashem is our God. Hashem is one. Means to say you invest your mind to ponder and meditate on this reality of Hashem's oneness. Hashem is Elokeinu, Kecheinu, V'chayiseinu, our Kech and our Chayis. And Hashem Echad, Hashem is one. And when I appreciate it deeply, again, intellectually, I appreciate this, the way the message truly is, and I ponder deeper and deeper, and again, with depth and with concentration, that ignites a feeling to HaKadosh Baruch. In this case, a feeling of love to HaKadosh Baruch. I gravitate to HaKadosh Baruch because I sense the Hashem Echad. I sense Hashem as Hashem Elokeinu, Kecheinu V'chayiseinu. Our Kayach and our Chayas. And again, overall, Hashem Echad, that oneness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that leads to V'ahavtas Hashem. So the command is in these beinunus. The command is in the meditation. The command is in the pondering on the message. That would ignite the feeling. For that matter, it works in every part, in every area in life. Seichel is meled midas. When I don't know about this program and someone tells me, oh, that's a good program, and I study it, I appreciate it intellectually, cognitively. I understand how this could contribute to my life, to my business strategy, and so on. This, I gravitate. I want that program. I want it to be part of my system here. The workplace, in other words, why do I gravitate? Before, I heard of it. It was something nice, and said maybe it's good. Maybe I should try to tap into it or find out more about it. That is, but when I understood it, I appreciated it, and the more I appreciated, the more I wanted, the more I cleave to it or want this to be part of my life, because intellectually I dissected what this is all about. I appreciate it again intellectually, how much it can contribute to my well-being. Therefore, I gravitate to it. It works the other way around. If someone doesn't know that this is a dangerous species, let's say, didn't pay much attention. But this can, when you understand it intellectually, that this can be harmful. So then there's a cringe when you come around it. So that feeling. That feeling of, let's call it yira, I fear that, is because I understood it intellectually. And so too when it comes to reverence, you hear about this person, you understand he's a monarch, and before you didn't know that, but the more you appreciate it in your mind, that ignites a reverence to that person. If it's a king, if it's, again, the monarch or whoever, someone is special, the more you understand it intellectually, that the more you are able to develop a feeling, an emotion to that. Again, if it's love, it's fear, and so on, reverence, and so on. So too in this case, Yargil Atzma, it's not just, okay, accustom yourself, I love, and I love Hashem because Hashem is Avinu Mezer. No, appreciate it intellectually. that Hashem is Avinu Mamash Amiti, Hashem is Mekir Chayenu, and Hashem is Avinu Mamash Amiti. These two ideas, which is again conveyed in this chapter, the Eibishter is the source of our life, and the Eibishter is truly our Father. And I pondered, and I meditated time and again, that would ignite, and not only that would reveal this Abba, this love to HaKadosh Baruch from a state of Seiser, from a state of hidden and concealed, to a state of revelation, to a state of manifestation. And what do I gain? I gain, naturally, the Avodas Hashem, as such, is more of a qualitative Avodah. So, what is Yargil? Yargil means meditate, ponder on this. And the more I ponder, the more I strip away the layers of the Nefesh Hamis. Again, if it's Iskafi or Ishapcha, if it's subduing or transforming, in the end of the day, I strip away the cover-up of this, which is so inherent and innate to the Nefesh Elikis, to the godly soul. And this it says that a good thought, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu connects it to actually his got from the Parchut Canal, to be wings, to elevate the Torah mitzvahs on high. Now, I will just say that this line could take quite some time to explain. We had it before, previous chapters, but the first time the Alter Rebbe introduces this is in Perek Zayin, kind of the third pretty much of this 16th chapter. You can it's a click away. My friends, it's a click away, just towards the end of Perek Zayin. Look at this, you can see it in the text and just follow the classes, probably the second, third to the last class, second to the last class. Again, you can see it there. You can see what Alter Rebbe is, one of the diyukim that Alter Rebbe points out. He says, when you have a machshava tova, you ponder on something, it says, because on the surface, it seems to be like, similar to what it says, when you do so, when you want to do something, or you think about something, it's as if you've done it in certain contexts. In the Midrashim Memori Razal, the saying of our sages of blessed memory, brought in the Gemara and Medrash and so on. But sometimes, and in this case, it says it in a bit of a different way, even though on the surface it has that same connotation. HaKadosh Baruch Hu establishes as if you did it. No, but Alter Rebbe says, then it would be malil b'kazav kilasoi, ki'ilu, as if you did it because you didn't do it. But in this case, the Alter Rebbe says you are doing it. And that's one of the messages the Alter Rebbe in that very chapter. It says you're doing it because the action you're doing. In other words, you're involved in the action. You're learning Torah, and you're learning diligently, and you're learning and doing Hashem's mitzvahs scrupulously. Then you have the machshava, you have the hisbeinus, you're pondering on the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The problem is the Ava was not ignited. And I say not ignited because, again, it's there in a very complete manner. The problem is it's not ignited. It remains talumes, the expression there of Alter Rebbe, it remains with talumes liv as opposed to bizgalus liv, in a hidden manner as opposed to the revealed manner. So there's an issue. So what Hashem does, mitzarfa, He connects the link. You have the machshava, you have the mizbeinus, you have the mais in a very complete manner. You're missing the passion. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu mitzarfa, He makes the connection as if you had the passion as well. That's the message there in Perek Zayin, the 16th chapter. What do we gain? What does Hashem have to do that? What we see over here, first of all, is that it's important that there is that passion. It's important that it comes lidegili, te'eles yitziyas, it comes, there's an gain, there's an objective, because when there's the passion, it takes the Torah mitzvahs and elevates it on high. And yet, when we say on high, means to say, as we explained, they're deeper and deeper within HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the relationship is a deeper relationship. It's a more profound type of relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this works exactly the way it works with two human beings. There is something which I just do. I want to give the person a gift as a watch as an example. So I could be the mailman bringing the watch to the door. So I'm the one who brings it, and there's a certain excitement. Yes, he brought it, and that's it. But there's no connection between the one who brings it to the one who's receiving it, because he was just the mailman. There's no connection. Or someone it's robotically given. Alter Rebbe has a different way also. Some things which it's sometimes even far worse than that or different than that. when there's an enemy which has to deliver something, but again, not to go there, but just even something, you gave it. So what you see is basically you're missing the time. You're missing a good watch or a nice watch. So now you have a nice watch, you have the time, but you don't feel the sensation of the giver within the gift. As opposed to when the gift is given with much emotion. So when the receiver, when he looks at that clock, not only sees the time, every time he sees and re-experiences, he sees the other party and he re-experiences the emotion and the way that at the time the gift was given. And that arouses a reciprocal type of love of the receiver to this one, to the giver. And that's again the deep relationship which people have with one each other. So what is important, apparently you say, well, what's the difference? The same watch? No. It's the watch has touched a deep part. It expresses a deep part of the giver within that very watch, within the very appearance, even external appearance of the watch. The whole sensation is there. And the same thing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's important that we have a deep relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, there's the action, and then the action could be dry. And the Lashon Ha'Torah, it doesn't elevate itself, or it elevates itself to Elam HaYetzira, but it's yet even more important that it's elevated to Elam HaBriya. And Al Torah explains there again, Elam HaBriya is a world still which has a much deeper revelation, manifestation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Atzilus naturally is a world which totally hosts the Ein Sof. It houses the Ein Sof. Everything about Atzilus, Leigur Chora, but even El Mabriya, it says Ganein Ha'elyain, the deepest, the highest level of Ganein is El Mabriya, because the Neshamas Yeshu Menenim Ziv HaShechina, they have a Nav, they have a HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In other words, that there's something very sensational in El Mabriya, and when I do my Torah mitzvahs with this passion, which this overt passion, again, Al Torah explains the connection to El Mabriya, because they're Mikanana, the Chachma, the Bina, rather the Bina of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the appreciation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which arouses this feeling and this emotion to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this is again similar and synonymous with Yeshua HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Neshamas Yeshua and they take delight and pleasure in the Ziv HaShechina. Because that's what El Mabriya is all about. And when a person does Torah mitzvahs with emotion, what he's doing is he's elevating the Torah mitzvahs, which he's doing higher and yet higher within HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not only Elam HaYetzira. Again, it's important to see the end, that chapter, Yetzira, Briya, but when we say to Elam HaBriya, it's simply deeper within HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Elam HaBriya is deeper within HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Elam HaYetzira. Elam HaYetzira is deeper within HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Elam HaSiyah. And that's the point, to elevate the Torah mitzvahs deeper, to touch a deeper part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then the whole relationship is a qualitatively different type of relationship. So, how do I get there? How do I emote with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? You can't just, I'm emoting with you. It doesn't work that way. You're mizbein, you have the machshava teva. And then you have the maisa, because you're not going to stop to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu till you'll have that sensation of love. Because Hashem says, learn Torah this morning. You don't have the love yet, learn Torah anyways. Do the mitzvahs, put on tefillin, have the mezuzah. Do it. So you're doing it, your machshava is there because you're pondering, because that's the only way to ignite the ava. Shema Yisrael, consequently, v'ahavta. You have the machshava, you have the passion of the love, the sensation of the love itself. Conversely, what if you don't, or rather, what if you don't? At least you have the machshava, and then you have the ma'asos. HaKadosh Baruch Hu would place the link. And what's the point? The point is that Hashem wants the relationship should be, and again, a deep, profound type of relationship. So the Eibush himself will be mitzaref, and he says, that optimally would be that you were able to extract this which is inherent and innate within the neshama. Remember, the ava is not something new. This is who you really are. But the only thing it's misuter, it's covered. So you have to try to extract it. And if you didn't yet, you're working hard. The machshava, the hizbeinus, you're doing what you ought to do. You're learning Torah and doing mitzvahs. Missing the link, Hashem will put together that, can make that final connection in order that the Torah mitzvahs should ascend higher and yet higher, meaning deeper within HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's exactly the way we work with two human beings. The more I invest my emotion into that action, the deeper it reaches within the recipient. Even though many times it comes through action. Yeah, it wasn't just, I love you. It was through a watch. I presented you a gift. It's something tangible. It's Maisa. But within that Maisa, every time that one party looks at the watch, the whole sensation comes up of the way it was given or the emotion which was invested in that gift. So the relationship is deeper. You touch me deep, and the reciprocation is also coming from a deeper part of me. Certain times a person is touched very deep that his whole entire life, he never leaves him this which this person has done for him, or as an example. What does it mean? It just touched a deeper level within the nefesh. And that's the way we have to relate with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We do relate with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if it's not there yet, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be mitzarev till you'll get there. Because it's important in the mitzvah, that's why it's a Gatfin, Ava V'yira there. The message there is the Ava V'yira, based in Isaiah, called Gatfin. They're wings which elevate the bird on high. There's the body of the bird, which is the ikr, even in halacha. A bird without wings is also a kosher bird. Nitlu agapei aksheda, says the Mishnah. Says the Talmud. And it's brought in halacha. So the bird is complete, and that's the main part. The maisa, the action. This is, we're living in Elam HaMaisa. Don't even with the HaKadosh Baruch Hu without putting on the tefillin or learning Torah. This is all Elam HaMaisa the Mishnah wants us to do. The main thing is the bird, but the wings of the bird allow the bird to soar on high. The Ava V'yira, the love and fear, elevate the Torah mitzvahs on higher, deeper and yet deeper within HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So what Alter Rebbe is getting at, you continue Yargilas Atzmit, ponder on this time and again, and you will get there because it's real, even though on the surface it seems like an illusionary experience. And the only reason is not because it's lacking, you have to go bring the Ava into your system. The Ava's there. It's who you are as a Yid, a Chelik Kamimal Mamash, a part of a HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So this level is all the other levels of Ava that Alter Rebbe speaks about in Tanya and truly exist, are part and parcel of who the Yid is. The point is to bring it from a state of Seser to a state of Hester. In other words, from a state of a hidden Ava to be a real Ava, for the reason how much it would contribute in the quality of the Yid's service to HaKadosh Baruch Hu when he gains that sensation of Hashem is Mekir Chayenu, the source of our life. And Avinu Mamash Amiti, our true Father. Have a wonderful evening.